I've been working as a security guard most of my life. It's not a glamorous job, but it pays the bills. I've done shifts at gas stations, convenience stores, little shops, mostly sitting around, watching cameras and keeping an eye out for trouble. So when I saw an ad for a night guard position at the local mall, I thought I finally caught a break. The pay was much better than anything I'd ever made before. The hours weren't bad. 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it was all in one building. I figured it would be easy. Just a quiet night in an empty shopping center. How hard could it be? I applied right away and got a call the very next day. The mall manager, a man named Mr. Hensley, asked if I could come in for an interview that same afternoon. That seemed fast, but I wasn't about to question it. When I arrived, the interview felt rushed. He asked me a few basic questions about my experience, but barely seemed to be paying attention. Then he ran me through the rules. Check the cameras every 15 to 30 minutes, do hourly patrols, make sure everything's locked up. Pretty standard. But then, without warning, he asked if I could start that very night. That caught me off guard. Most places take a few days to process paperwork or run checks. But I needed the job, so I said yes. He looked almost relieved and muttered something strange. The last few guards didn't last. I hope you'll be different. That comment stuck with me, but before I could ask more, he shoved a key into my hand and told me to report back at 11 sharp. When I returned that night, the mall parking lot was nearly empty. During the day, it's packed with cars, but at night, with just a few scattered vehicles under the dim lamps, the place looked abandoned. Too quiet. For a moment, I considered turning back, but I told myself it was just first-night nerves. Hensley met me at the employee entrance and walked me through the service halls to the security office. The room was small, crammed with monitors showing grainy feeds from cameras all over the mall. He repeated the basic instructions, then added something odd. Keep an eye on the escalators in the play area. Things happen there sometimes. He brushed off my confused look, said it was just kids sneaking in, then handed me a printed instruction sheet and left. The silence of the empty mall settled in around me like a heavy blanket. I sat in front of the monitors, flipping between cameras, dark storefronts, still escalators, an empty food court. For a while, it felt almost relaxing, until I realized I wasn't alone. When I turned, there was a man standing right behind me. I nearly jumped out of my chair. He grinned, clearly amused by my reaction, and introduced himself as the janitor. I hadn't expected anyone else to be working the night shift. He explained that management always kept one cleaner on hand to prep for the next day. Then his tone shifted. "Make sure you follow the rules," he said seriously. At first, I thought he meant the instructions Hensley gave me. But then he pulled a crumpled sheet of paper from his pocket and handed it to me. "These are the rules," he said. His voice was low, almost hesitant. "I don't know if they're real or not, but every guard before you got the same list. Some followed them, some didn't." I unfolded the page. The handwriting was shaky, the ink smudged. But the words sent a chill down my spine. Rule 1. Check the cameras every 15 to 30 minutes, but never stare too long. Rule 2. Never look directly at the mannequins after midnight. If they change position, leave immediately. I looked up at him, my mouth dry. "What is this supposed to be?" He didn't answer right away, just gave me a look that was part warning, part pity. "Just do what it says," he finally muttered, "or you won't make it till morning." And with that, he walked away, leaving me alone with the unsettling list. Just after midnight, I began my first patrol. The mall was much creepier at night than I imagined. My footsteps echoed down long hallways, the fluorescent lights hummed, and every creak of the building felt amplified. Then in one of the clothing stores, I saw something strange. The door was wide open. I shone my flashlight inside. At first, everything seemed normal, just mannequins standing near the back. But then I heard it, the faint rustle of clothing. I swung the light back and one of the mannequins had moved. It was closer than before. My blood ran cold. I tried calling out, thinking maybe the janitor was pulling a prank, but no one answered. When I looked back, another mannequin's head was now turned toward the exit. That was enough for me. I backed out of the store quickly, heart pounding. Then I heard it, footsteps behind me. Heavy, dragging footsteps like wood or plastic scraping across the tile. I turned. One of the mannequins was standing in the middle of the hallway, facing me. And then it started walking. Stiff, jerky movements, limbs creaking like they weren't meant to bend. I ran. I ducked into the restroom, splashed water on my face, and tried to convince myself I was imagining things. But when I glanced in the mirror, I saw her, a woman in a cleaner's uniform standing behind me. I spun around. No one was there. That's when I pulled the janitor's list back out. Rule 3. If a mannequin follows you, don't look back. Rule 4. Don't look into restroom mirrors. I had already broken both. The next rules made me even sicker. Rule 5. If you hear someone talking in an abandoned store, do not listen. Rule 6. If you hear a child laughing from the play area, leave immediately. Rule 7. If you check the time and it's earlier than before, return to the office immediately. I instinctively checked my watch. It read 11:30 p.m. But that couldn't be right. I had started my patrol well after midnight. Panic surged through me. I bolted back to the office. From then on, I stuck to the rules. I avoided the mumbling from the closed stores, ignored the dragging footsteps behind me, and kept my eyes forward when I felt the mannequins. But then I heard it. The low hum of machinery. An escalator running. My stomach dropped. Rule 10. If an escalator is running, do not investigate. I sprinted back to the office and checked the monitors. And there it was. A figure impossibly tall and spindly stood on the escalator. Its limbs moved in unnatural jerks as it rose upward. Then its head turned slowly, directly toward the camera, directly at me. The screen flickered into static. A loud buzzing filled the room. I tore my eyes away just in time. When I looked back, the escalator was empty. Hours crawled by. Just past 4 a.m., I heard a knock on the office door. 3 sharp raps, then a voice. "Hey buddy, how's the night going? Open up." It sounded like the janitor, but the rule echoed in my head. Between 4 and 4:30, lock the office door. Don't open it for anyone. I checked the camera. The hallway was empty. Yet the knocking continued. Then suddenly he appeared on the screen, the janitor, grinning, but his body wavered like smoke, and then he faded away. By 4:30, the knocking stopped. Later, I heard muffled crying from a nearby dressing room. The rules had warned me about this. I forced myself not to open the door, not to look. But when I checked the monitors, I saw her. A pale woman, long dark hair covering her face, drifting down the hallway. She didn't walk. She floated. She stopped outside the office. And then the knocking began again. It rattled the whole frame louder and louder until I thought the door would break. I clamped my hands over my ears and repeated to myself, "Don't open the door, don't open the door." Then, silence. I checked the clock. 6:01 a.m. My shift was over. There was another knock. This time it was Hensley. I checked the monitor. He looked normal. Just the manager waiting outside. I unlocked the door and stepped out, trembling and exhausted. He gave me a curious look. "Rough night?" "You look like you've seen a ghost," I almost laughed. If only he knew. But one question burned in my mind. "What about the janitor? The guy who works nights?" Hensley frowned. "Janitor? There's no janitor on the night shift. It's just you." The blood drained from my face. I didn't argue. I handed him the keys, quit on the spot, and walked straight out of that mall without looking back. Some places are better left alone, and that mall, it's one of them. I will never go back.